Paris, happy Thankful Thursday. I have to remember that, y'all. I never remember. Happy Thankful Thursday. So glad y'all can come here and hang out with me. We are continuing in our identity series. I'm so excited because I just feel like it's so much just packed, and I know I can't get it all in here, but I'm trying to give you as many jewels as I can about this identity thing because it's heavy and it's necessary and it's thick. And so I just really want to make sure I'm giving you all the nuggets I can. So last the other day, what did I talk about? Roadblocks to identity. If you didn't go watch it, please go back. You know, all my replays are on YouTube or Facebook. You always watch them. It was really good because I think sometimes we don't realize when we hit roadblocks what they are and what can be stopping us from going, and then how to get around them or how to deal with them accurately and efficiently so that we can get to the goal, which is to the identity that we need to be at so we can feel purpose. So I wanted to make sure that I want you, if you didn't see that, go back and look at that one. And today I just want to warn you, okay? Every once in a while I have a hitter quitter. Okay. Today is a hitter quitter. I'm on a time crunch right now, so I really have to kind of be a little bit quicker than I normally am. So I want to apologize in advance for me not reading a lot of comments today. I apologize if I don't see you come in. I kind of got to get you this information so you can have what you need because it's important to me that you guys get what you need, okay? And I know some of y'all like, thank God she talked too much. Whatever. Just in case you didn't really see what I made the topic, I want you to realize today's topic is imposter syndrome. Listen, I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but when I first heard of it, I'm like, what does that really mean, imposter syndrome? And why is it relevant, right? To me, right? I'm not an imposter. Like, what does that mean? I'm fake, I'm a fraud. And I didn't realize. And then when I started to talk about identity and really understand and get deep into it, I said, oh my God, it makes all the sense that we have to talk about imposter syndrome when we talk about identity. So I'm going to give you just, I'm trying to give you guys basic definitions so you always remember. At a very basic definition, right? Imposter syndrome is a psychological term which is where people doubt their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Sounds familiar? Ever happened to you? When I first heard this, I'm like, I don't know if this applies to me, right? I don't know if I can feel like I understand that one. But then I had to think about it like, oh my God, they doubt their skills. They doubt where they're supposed to be in life. They doubt that they deserve their, the accolades that they get for things that they did. And then they have a fear of people not thinking they're worthy. Hello. Did I not tell y'all I didn't want to do this live? Did I not tell y'all I was scared of people saying, oh, who does she think she is coming on here? Who, what this and that, what degree she had, why she on here, why she just talking? Did I not tell you guys how, most of my life, even in corporate America, I've had to have my bosses say, hey, don't you know who you are? What's that poem they had? Hey, black girl, do you know who you are? Do you know who you really are? Like, I feel like that's been a constant thing. Even my mother, she had to remind me, like, I've always like reminded you that you're amazing. And I'm like, yeah, and my dad too. And it's like, yeah, but it's internal. And it's this internal thing that you have to really understand that nobody can make you feel that way. Nobody can hype you up enough for you to feel that way. There comes a point where you have to actually believe it. And so what this imposter syndrome is you not really believing that you are where you're supposed to be by your own, I don't know what I want to use the word, that you belong where you're at, right? And always worried that people are not going to really believe or look at you as, this is my new word, subject matter expert. Like if you are doing something and this is what you do, you've been doing it for a long time, and then when somebody asks you, you still this worry that if I say this, they're gonna say that I'm not who I am. So imposter syndrome is actually a real big thing. And it comes a thing about like It really is. I just want to be careful. You see it a lot in people that are very well accomplished. They might hold high offices, have a lot of different degrees. Um, that's what we call in the field called high achievers, right? And so, that's not everybody, but there are. It's very prevalent in that group. And I know that I deal with a lot of different people. I know if you're drawn to me, you listen to the things I talk about. I'm sure I have quite a few high achievers on here. And so you know what I'm talking about when we talk about this, because it is always this idea that you can be knocked off your square or somebody's going to like think you really don't know what you know. Really don't think, they might just think it's something like, oh, that was just luck, or maybe my timing was good, or maybe like, I did this one time, but I can't like consistently produce this. And it's all a lie and it's all in our head. And you're like, Paris, well, why are we talking about this today? Because if you don't get the imposter syndrome under control, you can't get into identity, because you're literally going to feel like you don't even believe you might be like in purpose or like right there close to purpose. And you won't really even believe that you're where you're supposed to be. And you won't really act because you don't know and you don't feel like you're supposed to be there. You see why this is important? You see why it's super important that you actually are super intentional about understanding this? So let me give you some more nuggets and jewels about it. One of the things are a lot of times people deal with like perfectionism, the competitive environments, worrying about if you rank high enough on the scale of perfect or good enough, all that thing. These are things that like come into play. It might even get to a point where you worry about if people are going to listen to you if you talk. Like it even creates this fear of speaking, fear of just expressing what you know. When people ask you to say things, you just like, you rather go to the back. And it's not because you're introvert, it's just almost because I'm not sure. I don't want people to not think I don't know what I'm talking about. And it comes from a lot of different things. It could be from when you were younger and not having high self-esteem. It could be from having what's that thing called? I'm gonna call it performance anxiety. It's so many different ways that it can come up. But I really want to just talk about how to kind of deal with it. And just so you know, like 70% of adults have experienced this at least once in their lifetime. So it's not just high achievers. It's just I hate to say this, y'all know I hate to do the gender thing, but I think a lot of women deal with this, especially mothers, when you feel like you have to be the best mother, the best sister, best daughter, the best friend. You got to work a job 40 hours a week and then bake the perfect cake for the PTA meeting. And it's this idea that parts of you don't really believe that you're doing it. And everybody else sees you're doing an amazing job, but you don't see it. You don't feel it. You feel like a fraud because you know that you are having these, you're struggling to conceptualize and think that you're doing as good of a job as you're doing. And so, we have to get past it. So what are some ways that we can get past it? Well, number one thing, you have to definitely change your mindset. And that's why I keep talking about the mental health part of it, really getting a hold of these things that hold you back, right? We oftentimes like the feeling of not belonging. You have to really deal with that and understand who your tribes are. It's important. You have to acknowledge your expertise, like put it on paper. Like sometimes, hey, you got to big up yourself. Like, hey, I do have this degree. Hey, I did go to school. I worked very hard to know this. Hey, I've been working in this field for 20 years. Yes, I am knowledgeable. Hey, I've been a mother for, 15 years. Yeah, I know a little bit about it. I don't know everything, but I'm pretty, I feel like I'm in this area. I have some knowledge. I've been a project manager. You need to big up yourself to remind yourself you are indeed where you're supposed to be. Because if you cannot do that, you will get stuck. You will not move forward. You'll be like paralyzed in a spot. And you have to remind yourself that you earned your place. Like you're there not because somebody gave you a handout, but because you earned your place. I remember when I first got to college, somebody tried to play, oh, you got into school because of affirmative action. And I never let nobody play with me like that. Don't excuse me, watch your mouth. Let me show you my grades. Let me show you how hard I worked. Everything I got because I worked hard. I'm not here because the skin color, and you're not gonna, or because I'm a woman, and you can't make me believe that. And if that's how you want to feel, that's your choice. But I'm here because I deserve to be here. My test grades say it. My grades say it. Me being in this program in electrical engineering says it. And I have to read people like that sometimes and even tell myself that, because it can get to your head. You really believe, I don't know, am I supposed to be here? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Am I really, did I deserve my place here? So that is super important for you to sometimes remind yourself. It's not being cocky. It's not being, it's just about saying this is what the truth is. That's what it is. So, and then here, no to perfectionism. Remember I told you that, like, we're not, that performance anxiety, that whole idea I can do so much and hopefully I can, show people I'm worthy. No, deaf to perfectionism. None of it. Deaf to performance anxiety. We're not doing that. You're going to just stand flat-footed in your truth and say, this is what I am, and move forward. You can't even go where you need to go if you really don't believe you belong where you currently are. We can't talk about future if we're not talking about what we currently are. If you don't believe you belong here, how are you going to go forward? So this is a real thing that we have to really deal with, right? Also we have to make sure that that we realize about the discipline, like that. Remember what it took for you to get there, and then also remember the hard days that you stayed in when everybody else was out kicking it, and you did what you need to do to make sure that you honed your skills and crafts. And then also reminding yourself by some rewards, right? Like I talk about self-care all the time, because sometimes we don't realize all that we're pouring out, and we're not pouring enough in, or we don't have enough that's coming in. And so then we don't, I think is another trick, is being depleted. When you're depleted, you almost don't feel effective. You don't, because you feel exhausted all the time. You feel depleted all the time. So that's another big important part, right? So I'm almost done. I told you this won't be long, actually. We have to make sure that this is not something that becomes a roadblock, like we were just talking about it. And one of the ways to do that is make sure that you even get the right support group around you, the right team that can remind you on those days that you don't remember, that you're doing the work. You're where you're supposed to be. This is what it is. It's not about so you get a peanut gallery. It's about really having people that remind you on the days that you can't see it yourself. Okay? Really, that's why it's so important to be around the right team. That's why we did that whole relationship series, because you got to be around the right people, so that when you do have these days, because we are not perfect and we're going to have days, that you can like be centered and remember, okay, wow, this is why I'm here. Yes, I belong here. Okay, these are the things. Okay, I see my list. This is what I've done. Okay, I'm here. I belong in this group. I belong at this table. Pull up a chair. I'm going to show you something. Not because I'm cocky, but because I belong here. And your authority that you gain from that will allow you to go further, because you'll believe it, and then you can do above and beyond. I always tell people, what's the difference between people that do good work and excellent work, and the people that believe and know that their work is good, and then they go the extra mile because they know that, hey, I care about this. This is something I care about, and I'm going to put my all into it. And you don't put your all into it until you already know that you're good at it. I've learned that. People that hate what they're doing and don't believe in it, they're always going to do bad. But when you believe in something and you are looking for creative ways to be better at it, and you're going the extra mile, that's how you get better. You can't even be great until you're good first. That'll preach, y'all. That'll be a whole sermon. You can't be great until you're good first. There's too many people trying to be great that's not even good first. I'm telling y'all, God be giving me the best things to say, because I promise you that wasn't me. I had never heard that before. That's so good. I'm gonna soak in that one, right? So yeah, so listen, I really just hope that we are seeing this and understanding why it's important for us to know, notice this thing, and then start working on it, okay? And I gave you a couple of hints about what's doing it, what to do with it. We'll talk more about it. I think that's the hit and quit. This is a hit and quit. This didn't need to be super long, because again, this is something that is just what it is. And, acknowledging it and getting it out of the way of our progress on our journey to identity is necessary. So you already know what I'm going to say. I love you. And I appreciate y'all rocking with me. If you just came on, watch the replay, because you know the replay is always going to be here. Let me know you watching the replay. Still comment. I know I'm not seeing it right now. I'll come back and look at it. But definitely go ahead and comment, share. Somebody that can use this. I know y'all know somebody that's suffering from imposter syndrome. Give this them, not because it's me, but because I know they can use this information. That's the goal, for us to be our best versions of ourselves. Don't forget, you are enough. I'm going to say it every single time until you believe it. You are enough to get on this journey to being whole, to having an identity that's clear and concise so you can get on the way to purpose. You deserve that. You do. You deserve to put the work in there. You work for everybody else. You help everybody else with their vision and dream. It's time for you to figure out who you are. It's time to be able for you to look in the mirror and be able to speak to who you are very clearly. It's time, y'all. It's time. I love you all. You already know the weekend's coming up. Have an amazing weekend. Do something that you love. Self-care. You know how I feel about it. Go ahead and do what you got to do. All right? Bye, guys.